the chances, Jon, that this is your last fight at light heavyweight?
I got a lot to prove still. You know, I'm definitely not looking past this challenge here, but you know, Glover Share is somebody that I'm looking forward to fighting, and yeah. So I'll be here for a little while for sure.
So you've put the heavyweight plans on ice for now?
Yeah, you know, I have teammates that are heavyweight, and you know, there's a lot of work to be done in the light heavyweight division. I'm going to try to set a standard and a record that's going to be really hard to break. That's going to take some time. So.
And just curious, this weekend Phil Davis is fighting Miesha. Perhaps if Phil Davis scores the upset, he could be next. Miesha, if he wins, of course, he's always been very close. Who are you picking in that fight?
I think Leo Miesha is going to win. You know, he has phenomenal footwork. He gets the game. He has pretty decent takedown defense. That straight left that he has is so deceptive and so fast. I don't think Phil's kickboxing level is ready for a challenge like that.
How is Big Nog doing, and will he be able to train with you for your upcoming fight against Cain Velasquez?
Well, he's doing. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Well, he's doing very well. I think he's in Rio now, and he got some problems in his arm again. You know, after that fight. But for sure, he's gonna come to Salvador, where I live, to help me with my training for my next fight.
And Judge, you labeled the fighting video?
Yeah, the Garden's been great to us. They've been fighting the fight with us since day one. You know, everybody wants the UFC to come to New York, except for one guy. So we just keep moving. I mean, what are we going to do? We've done everything we could do. We have lobbied and lobbied and lobbied, and you know, we've walked the halls up there. A lot of these guys that are here have walked the halls. Ronda has. I know Jon Jones has, and some of these other guys have probably walked the halls up at the legislature here and talking to everybody. The support that we have there is unbelievable. But again, it goes back to how powerful one guy is in New York politics. So.
So much why is it so polarizing, Miesha? I think it's a personality thing mostly. I think we were raised very, very different ways, and I was raised that in order to respect somebody, you're honest and you're upfront with them and you tell them exactly what you think. And her idea of respect seems to be to smile to your face and then do something behind your back or talk behind your back. And so it would be more respectful for her just to tell me off in my face instead of just to smile in my face and, you know, talk behind my back. I mean, everything that she's ever really said that was insulting about me was never to me, and I think that is classless. So I think that telling someone what you think to their face is the most respectful thing you can do. You know what? I love that you skipped Miesha's response for that, so I already like you.
I know earlier you talked about compartmentalizing your emotions. This fight's different, and you already have a victory over Miesha. How sweet will this victory be for you if you are to accomplish your goal?
All of them are equally important to me. I treat every single fight like it's an Olympic final. I was really raised like that through judo with my mom. I would have up to 7 fights in a day. And yeah, the 7th fight of the day would be the final and be for the gold medal, but you would never get there if it wasn't for the first fight. You have to win the first one, the second one. So you treat all of them like it's a final. And so, yeah, no one's easy until after you beat them, in this case again. And it's just, you have to really treat every single fight like it's the end of the world, because it is. So this fight is going to be just as important, just the same, and it's going to be the most important fight of my life, because the fight in front of me is always the most important fight of my life.
How is he different than anybody else that you face? And what do you do to offset it?
It's true. Johny like really earned the title shot. He's on a roll right now. He's the #1 guy, and that's what makes the fight so excited, and that's what makes me so excited. So I want to be the best, and to be the best, I need to be the best. So I'm ready. I'll be ready for the fight. I'm excited.
Do you guys ever like each other even?
Oh yeah. So the one time I was watching, and I was backstage at the Coffin fight, and I was watching her fight Julie Kedzie, And I was watching the fight, and it was an amazing fight. I thought it was like the fight of the year. And, you know, Miesha got knocked around a lot, and then she came around, and she still, you know, got the win in the end. And I was sitting there, and I even turned to my coach, and I was like, dang, I might have to go and shake that girl's hand today. And then she took the microphone, and I was like, I can't wait to see Ronda get hit. And I was like, nope, handshake gone. No, I'm crossing that out. And then there was another time when I went to go see her and Kat Zingano fight. And even though it was a really, really close fight. Again, it was an amazing match, and it was getting down towards the end, and Kat was pulling out in front, and you know, Miesha was not doing so well. And but I do believe that the fight was stopped a little prematurely. I mean, from how the fight was going, if it was allowed to go a few more seconds, with all reasoning, she still would have gone the same way. But I empathize with her at that point, and so after the fight, I went up to her and I wanted to shake her hand and be like, you know, yeah, that sucks, I understand. And but I think only as a fighter and an athlete could I ever really relate to her. Personally, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that was the one time when after I fought Kat Zingano, you know, Ronda surprisingly came up to me and said, hey, that was a really good fight, and I just kind of said, you know, thank you very much. You know, it was cool to see that kind of respect from her. And there's been a couple little glimmers of hope here and there that maybe, you know, we'd be able to squash the beef or whatnot, but you know, the problem that I have with Ronda is I felt disrespected from the very get-go. I remember when she was like 3-0 or 4-0, she was coming up in Strikeforce, and the very first interview I think I ever watched of her, where I got to kind of know her a little bit, was with, I think it was with Ariel Helwani, and she said, you know, yeah, I'm going to come down to 135 and I'm going to slap that title out of her hands. And I was like, wait a minute, who is this girl? I would never be so disrespectful. And it just kind of went from there. It was a personal insult. So if you were me, you know, any of you guys, I think you probably would have taken that a little bit personally. So I said, hey, you know, I don't like that. And she's kind of like, well, I don't care if you don't like that. And then it just kind of escalated. You know, that's really all that it is. So.
See you next Ronda for 2 days. Are your thoughts on women's MMA changing, especially since we've had a few months of it in the UFC?
Of course, Ariel Helwani started shit. It's like,
let me clarify. First of all, I you know, in my free time, because that's what I do every day of my life. I don't watch the fight all the time. You know, I watch a few fighters that I like to watch. You know. If it's not a friend or a guy that I'm gonna fight, and sometimes I don't fight him. I do something else, you know. I'm more a nerd, you know. That's my lifestyle. But for the fight, I was not really back in the day into women MMA, because the one I saw, it was a C-bar guy, and I saw her. She was really brutalizing the last fight and the armbar, and I think that's. Ronda, I saw most of her fight, and I think she stand out from the other woman, and she had a nice setup, a Juji Gatami setup. I was surprised, and make me change my mind a little bit. But what I mean, it's not that I'm not against women fighting. It's just that I didn't really pay attention to it before, but now it's part of the UFC, and it's part of my work. I'm in it, you know. It's no problem with that.
so wait, time out. Let me explain this to you, Ariel Helwani. I didn't like women's MMA either. I hated it, and I said it would never be in the UFC, never. You know. And then as women's MMA continued to evolve, I educated myself a little bit about it to the new girls that were fighting, and I think you're going to see that a lot, not only in the sport among the guys that have been fighting here for a long time, but among fans too. Because somebody could easily just rip off, I'm not a fan of women fighting. Until you educate yourself and you see women fighting and you realize how many talented women there are out there now. So I don't think it's a matter of did Georges St-Pierre hate women's fighting. Georges St-Pierre was uneducated on women's fighting, just like I was once.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's not that I'm a macho or a sexist or, you know, I've been called names. It's not that. It's just...
We know. That's just how Ariel wanted to make you look today. You know.
Insinuate that.
No, but...
You were sitting over there the whole press conference going, what kind of a dick comment could I make? I haven't made one yet. I got to get one out there.
Somebody's sitting right next to Ronda all over the place. I'm wondering if
I figured you could say that, bring it up, you know. be a dick.
I was uneducated on the subject, and the fight that I've seen back in the day were very brutal, and it seems to me like it was not equilibrated. It was one girl basically that was going through another girl, and as with maybe it's my heart the way I am. I have two sisters. It hurt me to see one of the girls getting such a very ferocious beating. It seems like it was not a fair fight, and now things has evolved, and I saw Ronda last fight. She almost got choked, and then she came back, beautiful lumbar. It was a beautiful display of skill, and I'm the first to admit I made a mistake. I was uneducated on the subject when it.
We know, George. It's just air of Hawaii being air of Hawaii.
So a follow-up, and I love the idea of Dana being captain women's MMA year after not being the biggest fan. It's great. It's great for the sport. Ronda,
Thank you.
Is this a feather in your cap to hear him say this and to hear Dana say this as well after? Because I know it did kind of bother you when George said it initially, right?
Yeah, I kind of did. I mean, I understood why, and I had a lot of personal evolving to do too. I've always been such an Adam and Diaz fan that I was kind of a little bit biased, I think, against George because they're such good friends of mine, and now that the fight has already happened and everything, he did a great job, and he's a great athlete. I've always said I've respected him as an athlete and as a businessman. And I also said that the day that Georges St-Pierre says that he loves MMA, I'll say that I'm absolutely enthralled every time that you fight. And
It's a great moment.
yesterday the conference was all fighting and now it's all nice.
See, that's what when you face off with this guy the last 2 days in a row, when you see him, when you know it's coming, when the date is there. Has it sunk in yet that you're finally going to get this shot?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, you train for a long time. You think you're getting it, but there's always obstacles you got to overcome. And now that it's here, man, I can't wait. November 16th is going to be a wonderful night.
Guys, in the pound-for-pound rankings, you're talking about moving up to heavyweight. If the two of you can voice your opinion on one another and maybe give these fans a treat and stand up and square off, and maybe give us a preview.
I think it'll be great. Jon Jones is a great champion. He's amazing at what he does out there. So, if he does, be champion for a while, then yeah, I'll definitely, accept the challenge for sure.
George, it's been about 3 years, I think, since you fought outside of Canada. A lot of people say it's an unfair advantage to you. How do you feel about stepping out of Canada, fighting in Vegas?
I'm happy fighting in Vegas. This is the capital fighting city of the world, I started my career in UFC in Las Vegas. Vegas is the place I fought the most in my career, and very happy. Fighting at home, it makes you have a lot of pressure. And I'm very glad and happy fighting in Vegas. Like my second home for fighting. I have all my spot, my restaurant, my thing, and I'm glad going back to Vegas for November 16th.
As a fighter, MMA fighter, you will never get fully learned. You have to, train all the time, train on everything, and new talents coming up. The sports evolve all the time. So, you need to stay active, and you want to have a involvement of be a better fighter, and try to beat the better Alex for next fight, and so on and so on.
Do you guys have a timetable set of a potential move to heavyweight? Because you said you wanted to fight Glover Teixeira if you get past Alexander Gustafsson. Is there any sort of method to the madness or plan in terms of bulking up and getting to heavyweight?
No, right now we have no real ambition to go to heavyweight. Like I said earlier, we have quite a few heavyweights on our team, so I'm sure that would cause a little conflict. We have a lot of work to do at light heavyweight. So right now I'm looking to fight the best guys in the light heavyweight division. Alexander Gustafsson, he's done very well. He's a tall guy. I think me beating Alexander is going to close down a lot of critics of being too tall and being just bigger than everybody else. And then there's Gustafsson, you know, he's a phenomenal fighter. And then after that, you know, maybe Daniel Cormier, whoever wants to come down or do whatever. So yeah, there's no real plan. We're just trying to fight the greatest light heavyweights first, and then move on.
Tyson Fury had mentioned that he would like to fight you. He's a boxing fighter. What would you take that challenge? And also, if you could talk about how boxing played into your life, how it did influence at all in your career, and as a fighter, if you're rooting for either Canelo or Mayweather.
Me, as far as boxing, I mean, I've always loved it, you know, growing up, you know, watching Chavez fight, that kind of gave me a lot of inspiration to you know, play a combat sport. You know, the Tyson Fury thing, you know, I believe everybody needs to earn their shot. You know, you don't just come in and from another sport and then get the automatic, you know, championship fight. He needs to work his way up. And I think if he comes in and even fight somebody with a no name, he's gonna get beaten up. So, you know, I welcome the challenge him to come in and work his way up. It's not gonna be pretty, but you know, he can do it. And then, yeah, Canelo for sure. I think.
And for real quick, I'd like to jump in on that one, sir. First of all, nobody even knew who the hell this dude was until he started calling out Cain Velasquez, number one. Number two, Cain Velasquez has real guys to fight like Junior Dos Santos and other guys in the heavyweight division. But I'll tell you this, if Cain Velasquez continues on his run and runs through everybody, I would love to see Cain smash that fool, okay? So first of all, he would come in here and it wouldn't be boxing, it would be MMA. If he wants to fight Cain Velasquez, he can fight him MMA. That fight will last about as long as James Toney did.